Good morning. There were some big wins for Democrats last week here in Connecticut and, of course, around the country as well. So do we take those victories as any kind of a commentary on what might happen next year? Channel 3's chief political reporter, Susan Raff, is here to talk about that. She's joined by CT Insider columnist and senior editor Dan Haar. Welcome back to both of you.
Oh, thanks for having me.
I always jot all my notes down on these little pieces of paper. This is my trick. And I started writing down Enfield, Rocky Hill, Farmington, Bristol, and I ran out of room. Stratford, Milford. There's a lot of chief executives who
15.
have been replaced with a Democrat, a Republican being
29
replaced.
seats flipped on election night.
So we can keep filling my piece of paper. We can talk about it. What does it all mean?
I think it means something. And you've talked to the Democrats, and we talked to Governor Lamont about it this week, and the head of the state Democratic Party, that people are struggling, not just with SNAP benefits, but inflation and the economy. And people voted, as the governor says, kitchen table issues. And that helped propel Democrats to victory. It's interesting. I had a chance to talk to some Republicans on election night. I was in Bristol, and there were people on both sides, especially the Democrats, who said they don't normally vote a straight ticket during a municipal election. They did this time for Democrats, and they were sending a message. It's something they don't normally do, or not often.
So what do you make of it, Dan?
Well, it's always very difficult to analyze when there are multiple candidates. When we can easily analyze how things changed between even years, right? Did Lamont benefit from the national cycle? So the answer is that it's somewhere in between. There clearly was an underlying push, especially because it was affecting people's lives, SNAP. And it wasn't just, of course, SNAP clients voting, because we're all affected by that. And so there was an issue not just national out there, but national in here, right? Immigration, that's here. And so that's one thing. But by and large, in most of these places, if you look at Stratford and East Granby and Westport, there are local issues, you know, and Easton. There are local issues that dominate, whether it's leadership and personality or development. And so it's a combination of both. Whether we can read into it, that's a good question.
But take New Britain, all right? So you take local issues, but you take Mayor Erin Stewart, who's been around, what, more than 10 years, 12 years there in the city, yeah. Right? She passed the torch to Sharon Beloin Saavedra. But Bobby Sanchez, the Democrat, who's run before, by the way, and has not done well at all, did extremely well on election night. So I'm not sure if it was about issues in that particular race as a sign that people are uniting when it comes to the Democratic Party.
I want to talk a lot about what this means for 2026 in Connecticut, but I don't want to miss quickly, Dan, you had a column about the reaction in New York City to the new mayor. It could have some effect here in Connecticut. Do you think it will be a big one?
No, it's going to be a small one, but it's going to be a one. I spoke with commuters. I went down to the Metro North train platform and talked to commuters. Interestingly, out of about a dozen people that I talked with, every single one of them had moved to Connecticut, in one case 3 months ago, right? So this is who the voters are. And these are people who have all heard the story about the flood of New Yorkers coming in. Let's start with the baseline. 6,000 to 15,000 New Yorkers move to Connecticut every year. They're not moving from Rochester to Enfield. They're moving from Manhattan to Fairfield County. So the baseline is a pretty large move anyway. Is that going to increase? Not a flood, but a trickle.
We asked Governor Lamont that this week, whether you know, he's going to try to solicit. It's my understanding that Stamford's mayor is kind of doing a little please entice, come to Connecticut. But Governor Lamont says he doesn't want to do anything of that overt nature, but he would rather do something like organically.
He doesn't want to do anything because it'll call attention to the lack of housing.
Well, let's talk. You mentioned the governor. That's one of the big races we're going to be watching as we turn the calendar to 2026. Where are we right now in the race for governor, and what do you take out of this election day? Anything?
I asked him yesterday, or this week, if he's going to let us know soon when he's going to announce his political future. It is coming soon. I think Dan and I talked about this. Is he going to wait till the housing situation, they get something passed in the legislature? But keep in mind, when they go into special session this coming week, that the housing situation and legislation is going to have to take a little bit of a backseat to backfilling some of that money from SNAP benefits, because the state of Connecticut is losing about $36 million in federal funding. But he may announce it at the end of next week or possibly the week after.
I suspect it's going to be the end of this week, but we'll have a pool and we'll just have to see.
All
The
right.
governor did say back in June that he was quietly telling people that he would probably announce, if he announced, he would announce after the housing bill was negotiated in early July. Well, the housing bill took all summer and into the fall. Now we have a housing bill, maybe. And we'll see if he does it after that.
What were we calling it? The Harometer or something?
The Harometer. Well,
you were at 99.9. Are you higher than that?
We can't go higher because something could happen in the next few days.
Okay.
But
you're still
at 99.9.
All right. The other candidates who would be challenging him, any effects from this municipal election on any of them, Dan?
Yes. Ryan Fazio, the senator from Greenwich, put out a statement about the elections, the local elections, how much we have to work harder. He's indicating to people, I'm the standard bearer. He's trying to indicate, I'm the guy. And he puts out a statement. He's going to be an attractive candidate from the legislative standpoint because he's going to have all the support of the legislators.
But they need the money. So Mayor Erin Stewart, I think, is by far the one with the most money, and I think that's why she's delaying, because she wants that money. Fazio probably is at a deficit. He needs to raise a lot more money, I think, but he does have the support from the legislature. And then you take Josh Elliott, who we really haven't heard from much at all. I don't know what kind of money he has or what kind of candidate. So that's where you have it as far as the governor's race.
How about the congressional races? We know a lot of people have declared to challenge longtime sitting congresspeople in 2026. We saw Blumenthal come out and put his support behind Larson over the past week or so. Much to watch there, or much ado about nothing?
Well, at this point, it's Larson's race to lose against Luke Bronin, an attractive candidate who has many of the same supporters. But I think John Larson has to stumble in order for Luke to win that race.
And I also think that there's been some talk. I think Larson really did not want to leave now, although there are some who feel that he should. And there were some conversations, I believe, with him and Jillian Gilchrist, who is running for that seat, that maybe it'll be her time in the next election cycle. But let's be honest, even if that and he endorses her in 2 years or whatever, there will be a lot more candidates then. So in any event, he's going to run.
Bronin and Gilchrist are running for 2028, I guess.
Only about 30 seconds left, but just real quick, coming out of an election day, what are you watching now? What's the big thing you're keeping your eye on, both of you?
I mean, obviously, people are concerned about the midterms. I think I'm more focused on state politics and what happens with the governor when he announces, and some of the challenges that Connecticut faces, especially with the federal government and how long this shutdown continues. I'm not going to focus on the midterms, but if you believe what the Democrats are saying, Connecticut and a lot of other states could go blue.
Dan, quick.
Connecticut Republicans have to figure out a way to distance themselves from Trump, and that's what that's the ones that win do that.
Maybe that's the takeaway from Tuesday night.
Yeah.
All right. Dan Haar, Susan Raff, as always, thank you for being with us.
You're welcome.